Today we are going to start on page That's okay. Yeah. Okay. Yesterday we learned how to name simple compounds. What type of compounds did we learn yesterday? I'm actually just going to go off script here. Okay. So if you want to take notes on this, you can use the inside cover of your book, or you can use a piece of paper from the back. Okay. Does anyone remember what we called those compounds? Yes. Binary ionic. So, yesterday we learned about ionic compounds and how to name them. What did we write first? The metal. And second, we wrote the nonmetal. Which name did we have to change to "ide"? The nonmetal, the ending changed to "ide." Do we change the metal to "ide"? No "ide." Did we have to worry about the little numbers? Yeah, don't worry about the little numbers. So how do we know that we have an ionic compound? We know because it is made of a metal and a nonmetal. The metal always comes first, the nonmetal always goes second, and we only change the ending of the second word to "ide." And we don't worry about the little numbers. Okay? And that's the only thing you need to know about naming them. This is pretty straightforward. Today we're going to learn about a different type of compound. Okay, today we're going to learn about a covalent compound. So, in a covalent compound, are there any ions? No ions. And instead of having a metal first, we have a nonmetal. And second, we have a second nonmetal. Okay. Did I press record? Let's see. I did. Congratulations. Yay me. Okay. Now, there's something that is the same about how we do covalent compounds and how we do ionic compounds. The second nonmetal, the ending changes to "ide." Oh, so that's just like it was before. What do you think we're going to do with the first nonmetal? Yeah, we're going to keep it the same. There's no "ide." And what's different about covalent compounds is we do have to worry about those little numbers. Those little numbers are called subscripts. If you go in a submarine, where do you go? You go in the ocean. You go where in the ocean? Down, under the water. If you have a sub-zero temperature, what does that mean about the temperature? It's below zero. The prefix sub means below. Do you see how that little number is down at the bottom? Okay, that's below. And script, yes. It's all one word. I've just sort of like split it a little bit so that you can see the two halves of it. But yeah, it's just one word. Anyone got any ideas what the word script means? Writing. So it goes below the writing. These little numbers go below the writing. Now, in an ionic compound, when we have SrCl2, those little numbers tell us if there is no little number, that means that the number is 1. Okay, if there's no little number, that means 1. So if I was to draw SrCl2, I would have an Sr, which is 2+, and I would also have it attached to a Cl, which is negative. How many Cl's do you think I should have? 2, because it's got that little number 2. But when we're doing ionic compounds, you don't have to tell me what the subscript is, because as a chemist, I know that if you give me the name strontium chloride, strontium is 2+. And if I need to balance out 2+, I need a -1 and another -1. Don't worry about that too much right now, okay? But that's the reason I don't need to tell you anything in the name about the little numbers, is because as a chemist, I know what the charges are and I know I have to balance those charges out so that they're equal. We'll get to that later. So don't worry if you didn't catch that now. Okay? In a covalent compound, what kind of elements make a covalent compound? Non-metal and non-metal. Two non-metals. No ide. In a covalent compound, you need to tell me how many there are of each atom. CO2 versus CO. The name tells you the number of atoms. The formula also tells you the number of. Yes. The formula, and these are formulas, okay, that's a formula, also tells you the number of atoms. In this carbon, we have no little number down there. So how many carbon atoms do we have? We have one carbon. We have a little 2 down at the bottom there. And so that would be how many oxygen? 2 oxygen. So if we drew a picture of this molecule, yes? Oh, I'm just saying there's 1 times and 2 times. No. And this is just showing you the work. This is nothing official. This is just work, okay? Nothing official there. What you really have is you have the formula. We could draw it. We could draw a carbon atom in the middle. And we could put an oxygen atom on one side, and where might we put the other oxygen atom? On the other side. That's CO2. Does anybody know the name of CO2? Carbon dioxide. What does the prefix di mean? 2. Di means 2. So that's how the name tells you the number of atoms. Here's our other formula. We've got 1 carbon, 1 oxygen. So you would just have 1 carbon attached to, bonded to 1 oxygen. So this is carbon. Anyone want to guess what we put on the front of oxide? Mono. But because it's oxide, we're going to drop one of the O's because otherwise it looks like monoxide, and that just looks silly. You know what I mean? So we drop an O in front of oxide. So oxide. The prefixes tell you the number of atoms. Now, there's one thing I want you to take note of here, and that is, how many carbon atoms were there in carbon dioxide? 1, but no mono. For whatever reason, we do not put mono on the first word. If there's just one of the first one, we just leave it blank. Okay? No mono on the first word. Yes. Only if there's one. Okay? Yeah, so let's give an example where we have, let's say, N2O4. So we have a 2, so we have 2 nitrogen atoms, and we have 4 oxygen atoms. So that would look like an N attached to an N. And 4 O's attached. And by the way, if you're finding it too hard to keep up with keeping the notes, I am going to print these for anyone who needs them later. Okay, so if you're like, ah, but it has been shown that writing things down does make it go into your brain better. So if you are able to write it down, that's great. Okay, but even if you write it down and you're like, I would just like, you know, my writing isn't the best, I would like the one with like the highlighting on it and whatever, please let me know and I will get that for you. Okay. So this one, what's our first element's name? That is nitrogen. Do I change the ending of the first word? No, never change the ending of the first word. So nitrogen. And remember I said there was no mono on the first word? Did I say there was no anything else on the first word? No, so if it's anything other than 1, you do need that prefix. What is the prefix for 2? Di. And it's all one word, dinitrogen. It's all one word. Okay. What element do we have there? We have oxygen. Does it need to change its name? Yeah. Yes, it is the second element, so it changes it to oxide. Be careful, it is not oxygenide. It is not oxide. Oxygenide. Oxide. You do not want 3 syllables. You only want 2 syllables. Oxide. Okay? Oxide. What goes on the front there? We want something that means 4. Tetra. And because it's in front of oxygen, again, tetraoxide sounds kind of weird. Tetraoxide. So we actually drop the A. So it becomes tetroxide. Yes. Oh, no. Only in front of oxide. Just in front of oxide. Okay? Other vowels, we don't drop anything. Okay, I'll give you another example of that. So the weird little things about these, the weird little exceptions is there's no mono on the first word. And the other little weird exception is that in front of oxide or oxygen, we drop the O and we drop the A. We do not drop I. And it's only in front of oxide. Let me see. O3I. This is not a real compound. Sometimes, just so you know, I am making up pretend compounds, okay? Which is okay, because you just need to practice the patterns, okay? But we should be able to name this because we have 3 oxygen and we have how many iodine? 1 iodine. So how would we name that? What is 3? Mono, di, tri. Mono, di, tri. Tri. Now, do we want oxygen or oxide? Oxygen. Remember, no "ide." Because it's the first word. Do we drop the I in front of oxygen? Nope. Trioxygen. We have 1 iodine. It should be iodide because the second word changes to "ide." Do we drop mono in front of iodide? Do we drop the mono on the second word? No mono on the first word? Yes. But we need mono on the second word. We only drop the O in front of oxygen or oxide. So it's only O and A that we drop, and we only drop it in front of oxygen or oxide. Only O and A, only in front of oxygen and oxide. Whew. That's a little complicated, yes? So we would have trioxygen. What would we have to put in front of iodide? 1 is mono. Shall we just look at a few more examples? Like not write them down, but just look at them? Yeah? Okay. So this is on page 11. So we have two types of compounds. What are the two types of compounds? Ionic, ionic, and covalent. What is ionic made of? Metal plus nonmetal. What is covalent made of? Nonmetal plus nonmetal. For ionic, do we use prefixes? Did we use prefixes yesterday? No. So do we use prefixes for ionic compounds? No prefixes. How about for covalent compounds? Yes, prefixes. No prefixes? Yes, prefixes. So 4.1b is all about the prefixes. This is quiz 2. Is all about the prefixes. What about quiz number 1? Were there any prefixes on quiz number 1? No prefixes on quiz number 1 because quiz number 1 was about ionic. Okay, so this was quiz 1. This is quiz 2. So for quiz 1, no prefixes. For quiz 2, prefixes. And then next week for quiz 3, we're going to mix them together so you have to tell what kind you have. I know. Okay. You know what? It's kind of like just a little practice. Okay, so let's not worry about that too much. Okay? How can we tell that CaF2, the one that, stop that. How can we tell that CaF2 is ionic? Because calcium is a metal. Will we use prefixes? No. So you just say calcium and then fluoride. And don't forget, I will be marking spelling, especially on fluoride. It has to be UO and not OU. No fluoride. How can we tell that CuF2 is ionic? We can tell because Cu is a metal. Now, later on, not yet, you will learn why we have a Roman numeral in the middle of that thing, but we don't need those yet. Okay, so just ignore the Roman numeral for now. How do we know that CO2 is covalent? You look at your first element and you say that is a nonmetal. You don't even have to look at the second element because the second element will be a nonmetal, whether it's ionic or covalent. If it is covalent, what do we need to add in that we didn't have to do with ionic? If it's covalent, we need to use prefixes. So it's not just carbon oxide, it's carbon dioxide. He is a non-metal. That means it's covalent, which means you need to use prefixes. So you need to say that there are 2 diphosphorus and then 6 hexafluoride. Hexafluoride. Yeah? Right? Yeah. So by Monday, I would like you to have memorized all 10 of the prefixes. If you don't have them memorized, you can still write the quiz, but you get a mark off. I'll give you like a little sheet with the prefixes, and the maximum you can get is 5 out of 6 on the quiz. Okay? So that's on quiz 2 and on quiz 3. Let's quickly go through the prefixes so you know what they are. And that's on our next page. Actually, it's not on our next page. It's even further along. It is on page 13. I think that this would be a page that would be worth putting like a little sticky on. So if you want to grab like a little sticky and bookmark this page, you can do so. Okay. So 1 is mono. 2, we've used it a few times already. 2 is di. Anyone got a way to remember that 3 is tri? Tricycle. Triangle. Okay, tricycle, triangle. Tetra is one of the ones that is more difficult. People have trouble remembering tetra. Okay, people have trouble remembering tetra. If you've ever played Tetris, their blocks are made of 4 squares. Yeah, so you might have something like this. I need another pen. That one is dead. If you've ever played Tetris, each little block is made of 4 squares. So 4 is tetra. But that's not a particularly wonderful way to remember it if you've never played Tetris, so you just might need to put that one in your head. Okay? Penta, pentagon. That's a 5-sided figure. Hexa, hexagon. That's a 6-sided figure. octa is another that people have difficulty with. Okay. I kind of remember sometimes people mix up hexa and hepta. What does the number 6 have in common with hexa? Six has an X and hexa has an X. I don't know if this is helpful to you at all. Sometimes when I write the number 7, I'll put that little line in it so it looks more like a 7. And guess what? We've got a little line in the T. I don't know. Maybe you'll find that helpful. Maybe you won't. Maybe you just have to stick it in your brain, write it out 20 times. You know what I mean? Or take the 1 mark hit and get the little list. Octa. This one's a little easier again, because what do we know that has to do with 8? We got an octopus. We've got an octagon. Okay, so that's 8. Nana kind of sounds like 9, yeah? Just be careful, it's not nano. And finally, what would you say if you were talking about 10 years? Decade. That's a decade. Deca. So today, your goal, if you have not already completed it, is to complete quiz 1. And remember, those are Ionic. No prefixes. And page number. You can do page 14 to prepare for quiz 2. And then if you feel like you've got, I don't know, some people just pick up memory things really quickly. If you've got those prefixes memorized already, you can do quiz number 2. This and this need to happen today. Thank you. Just in no, it's just in case you need to redo it, but you obviously don't. Does anybody want to print out notes? I do. Yes. Are we not doing homework checks for this unit? Nope. Oh, so homework are like. The quiz is the homework check. If you haven't done it, then you will do it on the quiz, right? Okay, I will show you in just a moment. I'm going to print out these notes first, and then I will show you where to get quiz 1. Yes? Do you have to what? No, it's your choice whether you capitalize or not. Just don't put any capitals in the middle of the word. Okay? Yeah. Huh? Where'd it go?
Do we ignore the numbers for quiz 1, or do we also write it down?
Do you what?
Ignore
the numbers for quiz number 1. Yeah, yeah, yeah.